We find Vecna, we end this once and for all. Together.
On December 25th.
We have a plan. It's a bit insane. Everyone in?
He knows where we are.
Watch out!
Get ready for one last adventure.
We stay true to ourselves. Stay true to our friends, no matter the cost.
Found you. Stranger Things, Season 5, Volume 2 begins December 25th. Only on Netflix.
This episode is brought to you by McAfee.
Swimsuit, passport, phone, with VPN activated.
VPN?
Cell phone service is going to be spotty on vacation, so we'll be using public Wi-Fi.
Sounds sketchy.
Exactly. The networks can leave your personal info, like credit card numbers, exposed to hackers.
McAfee's secure VPN lets you browse and bank safely from wherever, whenever. Learn more at McAfee.com/online protection.
Welcome to Board Game Anonymous, the podcast where everyone is welcome at the table, but of course, as always, no one knows whose turn it is. This is Chris.
This is Anthony.
This is Will.
This is Megan.
And this is episode 556, Top Convention Library Games from PAX Unplugged and BGGCon. We'd like to thank all our Patreon backers for helping us bring you a brand new episode. Hey friends, we're back, and my voice is kind of back. But just in case, do not worry, Will is back, along with Megan. Hey, Will. Hey, Megan.
Hi.
How's it going?
Welcome to the podcast, Megan. We're so glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Megan, you just recently joined the BGA team. You're having a ton of fun at PAX.
Mm-hmm.
Give us your impression. You've never been to PAX before.
Never been to PAX before. Never been to a board game convention before.
Yeah.
So very, very new to the experience. It was very overwhelming, very much kid on Christmas, kid in the candy store. But, 32-year-old in not so good sneakers, I suppose. So, left with some low back pain and lots of exciting things in my game bag.
Excellent. How about you, Will? You've been to PAX before. You enjoyed it this time?
Yeah, I think it was a little different this year just because of how some of the planning laid out. But, I did my best to prepare for all of the walking and all of the talking. And by the end of it, feet hurt, voice blown out, just in time for Thanksgiving.
It's true. It's honestly a bad date, I think. And I'm glad that next year they already announced it's going to be after Thanksgiving.
Oh, goodness. That's going to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think our friends from New Jersey who saw us online for Trader Joe's experienced my voice for the very last time, and now it's this thing. Now I'm doing this. After multiple steroids and antibiotics, it's doing this right now. But Anthony can talk. He's got a voice.
Yep, I'm here. I got
See?
words.
That's why we have more people on, so they can say the things about the things that we saw and the conventions and stuff. Thank you very much. See, we did a thing. He did a thing. But yeah, it's nothing like going to a board game convention and then your feet and your lower back are killing you, and then yet the healthiest people on the planet that are running around everywhere because it's a marathon at the same time. The irony is not lost on us whatsoever.
A weird time for the marathon and board game people because they were forced to choose between their children.
It's true. Did you notice all the people with the signs for the marathon? Like the family members cheering their people on at different points where it's raining? If only our family members came to these board game conventions with signs and cheered us on.
I thought they were for me.
As we walked up and down the aisles the entire time.
I saw someone in a restaurant with one of those space blankets, and I'm like, lady, come on. The board games aren't that intense,
Yeah, I think that'd be fun, right? If you at PAX and like you going up and down the aisles, and then people have cups of water for you. You just like slash it back and throw it down, and then keep going up and down the aisles.
That's our next booth idea.
I've never been more dehydrated than I was that weekend.
Isn't that crazy?
So crazy, yeah.
Yeah, I think while PAX has everything, they do not have enough watering stations.
No, it's really hard to find a place to fill up.
Especially inside the convention hall.
New booth
the
idea.
bathrooms are packed.
Yeah.
It's always like very elegant areas in that convention hall where there's a refill station. You're like, oh, this is nice, but also it'd be nice if it was where all the other people were too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a good time. So Megan, are we going to get you to go back again? Are you going to do it again?
Oh, 100%. I just need to like play all the games that I bought.
That doesn't happen, Megan. Nice try.
Aspirational all the way.
It's 100% a Willy Wonka situation, Megan. You go there, you really don't come out the same way.
That's how I feel, and I need to buy like more shelves for all of the games I've acquired.
One of us. Yeah, no, it's a fun time, and it's good. It's a good newbie convention, I guess. I know there's smaller ones out there, but of the big ones, that's probably the best one.
Yeah. It was also really cool to see all of the games that I've been getting targeted added on Facebook in the flesh. You're like, oh yes, I've seen this game 7 times this week already. Wow, it exists. I do want to spend $45 on Kickstarter. Convincing me.
What was like the most interesting, odd, or fun thing that you saw at the convention?
Well, I did see a game that I've already paid $65 on Kickstarter for, and I'm waiting to get delivered very excitedly. It's called The Sheep, and it was billed as a cooperative horror comedy game about you're a shepherd, and during the day all of your sheep are fine, but at night they transform into eldritch creatures of horror, and you have to try to kill them. So I was able to see that in the flesh at PAX. That was a nice surprise, and sort of get a preview on like how the game actually is played, and not just be convinced by like drawings of weird sheep creatures and like the general concept of like convincing my friends to play a game called The Sheep.
Was it for sale at the convention?
It was not, unfortunately. Okay. So, but I think they're going to be the people at the booth said they'd be going into production like sometime in December, which is this month. How exciting! So, hoping to get my copy within the next several months.
Excellent. Yeah, the convention experience, Megan, of going there and seeing a booth and seeing the game that you backed and not having the game that you backed, but it's for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, murder. Just
yes.
like,
yeah, I do not have the patience for that.
I'm just like, how? Magic? What magic did you do? You did the magic, because you said this would not be released for another 6 months. I'm waiting for it. I gave you my money like 3 years ago, and
yeah,
that's the thing. And Anthony, one of the surprising things at PAX, sadly, or I guess controversially, or I don't know how to kind of put it, but like Academy Games was not there, and probably for good reason.
Oh yeah. This is
we love Academy Games, but
right, yeah, no, the ongoing saga of what's going on with Academy Games following the great Stellaris debacle. So, the game probably doesn't exist. The company probably doesn't exist anymore either. At least not for a while.
Will, have you played Stellaris, the video game?
I've played Stellaris, the video game, quite a bit.
Great game, right?
I enjoy it thoroughly. I get lost in various mods and, chaos things, but I enjoy it.
What if I told you they had a Kickstarter for a board game version of it, and it was so well done that like you could actually play it, but then because it's this giant space opera 4X kind of thing, but then like if you're running out of time, it's easy to box up and put away, and then you could play again from that same point you left it, and people can drop in and out without a problem. It's like a revolutionary idea. And I think, was it 1 year or 2 years ago, Anthony, that we actually saw it at PAX?
That's
At least
a question.
a prototype version, I should say.
Yeah, because this thing went up. It's 2021. They ran the campaign. It was supposed to deliver in 2022, so almost 4 years ago. I think we finally saw something of it maybe last year.
Was it last year? Yeah.
Their most recent post on Kickstarter is, "Hey, here's a mock-up of the box. We might start production soon." Like that's where they're at still.
And they're generally a good company. I'm really surprised to see that, but again, it was terribly disappointing because it's, as Will was saying, like it's an amazing game. So to have a board game version of it, I did not back it, but it was a very hard decision not to back that.
Yeah, I mean, it tells you don't make a game if you don't have the rules for it yet. Like,
I remember that's probably the reason why, right? Because they released they had some images, but they didn't have any of the gameplay actually in that.
They landed
campaign.
The license, they ran the campaign, they hadn't actually designed the game yet. So then they spent the next 3 years designing the game, which is fine in general in purpose. Like, I remember talking to Ian Brody at one point, and he said he worked on the War of the Ring, the card game, for what, like 8 years, 9 years?
7, yeah.
Yeah, like a long time. And that happens sometimes. The game doesn't just
Sure.
spring fully formed from your head. But when people have just given you, what, like $3 million, $2 million?
Yeah.
You need to have a design. You can't just... like, I love them, but it was not a good decision.
And there was a board game review guy that was quote unquote previewing the game, and it was so sketchy because he's like, I saw the game and I saw all these things, but he had nothing to show on the video. But he was like promoting it and telling people to back it, which was very sketchy. And then later there was even more sketchy stuff with that guy of a separate type.
Yeah, yeah, and like did they ever release a rulebook during that campaign? They didn't, right? Like,
I don't think they did.
Yeah, so it was problematic all around.
Yeah, it was bad. So apologies and sadness for all of you who did back it. Hopefully it does come out, because there's still a possibility. At least that's what I say out loud to myself when I think about Madeira. I'm like, that's gonna happen, right? That's still happening,
buddy. You gotta let it go.
It's gonna happen. There are miracles. Christmas.
You gotta let it go. They're moldy
Santa.
by now. Let
Santa.
it go.
No, Santa. Santa. I still can believe. But anyway, it was a very good PAX Unplugged, and we were so glad to have Megan with us and Will again, which was a lot of fun. And we're going back next year, which is cool. And PAX is later, which is also cool because we'll be able to enjoy the holiday season, the Christmas season, and not be problematically challenged by Thanksgiving getting overlooked. Will,
I feel strongly about this. It's
yes,
look, you can't be going to Christmas events, you can't be having your like presents and all of this stuff before Thanksgiving has its time.
See? There you go, people.
I strongly disagree.
Oh, hot take.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's the hot
I'm ready,
take there?
I'm ready for Christmas carols November 1st. Like, you know.
It's unacceptable. It's too early.
Oh man, Chris, quit nagging him on, man. Starting fights on the podcast.
I was trying to be respectful and commiserating with Will in his identification with Thanksgiving. I don't know, maybe that's more of a Texas kind of thing where like it's embodied more in that kind of culture.
I identify as a late in life Thanksgiving convert. It wasn't really a big thing in my family. So I guess maybe there's like sort of the conversion zealous kind of energy going on. Like the people who believe in it most are the people who just showed up to it, kind of a thing.
Gotcha. All right. Well, for this episode, again, we're talking about the last two major conventions that happened. PAX Unplugged 2025 and BGGCon happened on the same weekend. And I think this is the second time, in fact, that this has happened, Anthony, right? The first,
the very first PAX, they overlapped directly, and now, 8 years later, they've done it again. But this time, it sounds like it was because they messed up their scheduling. Because next year we're back to normal.
Yes, we're really happy about that because the holiday season PAX is a lot more fun when all the things in Philly is lit up and available instead of like half-built trees and quasi holiday sentiment. And BGG is and again, you want to go to BGGCon too, so we probably lost some people and some publishers at the convention as well. Yeah, and probably didn't get some games from Eschenspiel that couldn't make it over in time. So there's a lot of reasons why it's better at the end of the year. So looking forward to 2026. That being said, beyond all the things that we all saw at the convention and had a lot of fun with, and also hopefully you all had fun with those, whether depending on whatever convention you went to, there were a lot of games played in these convention libraries. So if you've never been to a convention, typically they're going to have large game play space. And those conventions are going to have game libraries that they bring. And typically they have a lot of the hotness in there, but also have a lot of classics as well. And it gives you all an opportunity to play games at the table with either strangers or with family and friends, whoever you brought along with you. And recently, 2 people posted in the PAX Unplugged Facebook group, Hilary, Clair, and Matt Morgan, talking about BGGCon and PAX Unplugged, and talked about how their library experiences and what games were played really told the story. So we'll be talking about that in our feature review, and gives us all an opportunity to talk about that, reflect upon that, and for all of us to guess what games were most sought after in those libraries for those 2 conventions. But before we get into all that fun stuff, we actually did get to play a bunch of games at PAX Unplugged, and especially Will and Meghan played a bunch of games together. So with that said, Meghan, why don't you take us and let us know what games you played this past week?
Well, I've played some Side Effects, which is one of my favorite games, even pre-PAX. And I picked up some expansion packs for Side Effects at PAX, but have not yet had a chance to play those. And Will and I played, was it Pillars of Fate, which is a new game we got at PAX, and a game called Kites, which is about frantically turning over little hourglasses. Very, very, very interesting new mechanic.
Yeah, I love the sand timers. Well, why don't you start us off with Side Effects? Tell us a little bit about the game, and let people know once you get through all that kind of fun stuff, if people should run out and buy it, if they should stay home and play it, should they dodge it, or in fact, and I'm assuming that you're going to say no to this because you purchased these games, burn the game, because, I don't know, it's that kind of world-ending crisis that we're typically having these days. So, Side Effects.
Side Effects. So important context is that in my day job, I am a therapist, and so I saw this game on the game shelves at the game store, and I was like, "Wow, a game about mental health! I do that. I surely need to pick this up." But to really simplify the concept of the game, you are trying to give other players more mental illnesses while at the same time trying to cure your own mental illnesses with pharmaceutical interventions or therapy, which I think is very funny as a therapist. But it's fairly easy to play. You get 4 cards dealt out to you at the beginning, and you're essentially taking 2 cards per round to either try to make someone else develop a new mental health condition that they are vulnerable to due to the potential side effects of the medications they're taking for their pre-existing conditions, while also trying to cure your own psyche of disorders. Very fun, I think, and very nice card art as well.
Yeah, I love the card art. It's really wicked.
Mm-hmm.
And the box too. The box got
it's got a very cool sort of like old timey like snake oil salesman, like, or like very early on, like, you know, is this cocaine, or is this like actually going to be like a therapeutic intervention? Who's to say?
There's a lot of skeletons. All the cards seem to have skeletons in them.
Right?
Yeah.
It's sending a clear message. Bad things are happening.
So is this a game actually you yourself or other colleagues have used this in therapeutic practice, or is it just kind of like, this is my genre?
This is not something I've used with clients.
Okay.
This is something that I've gotten a giggle out of with other either therapist friends or friends who are like involved generally with like their own mental health or like in the mental health space, because it is a little dark humor. You know, I don't think I'd pull it out with like just any client in particular.
That'd be bad, right? That'd be a little bit malpractice.
A little, maybe a little bit, unserious, which I do love to be unserious, but, not wanting to make too much light of the reasons why people come to therapy while they're in the therapy room.
Yeah, I think it's that kind of macabre humor, which is it's not laughing at people, but it's kind of embracing. I want to say nihilism because I don't think that's
yes. Mm-hmm.
So I think there's value in that. I think there's value at laughing at death a little bit. I think
exactly,
or smirking a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, like you do, become cure or treat at least all of the conditions that which you were dealt. So some hopefulness there at the end.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And they also have an expansion for it, I see, which is pretty cool.
Yes. So I picked up 2 expansions. So one is called Active Ingredients, and you get additional action cards, new disorders, and new drugs to treat things with. And then there's also Legal Vices. So you can add in coffee, tobacco, and alcohol cards, which are going to increase your vulnerability to conditions like impotence or depression or anxiety, or let's see here, lots of impotence. So
wow.
Yes, so giving you more opportunity. I think this is needed because the game itself, while very fun, is pretty simple. And after you play a few rounds, you're like, okay, I know what the math here is of the variables. So I think adding in these extra things of you can have this here and it's going to increase your vulnerability to things, which gives people more opportunities to make moves and keep sort of the game going. So you're not just waiting for a particular card to advance the gameplay.
Gotcha. Will, have you played this?
Yeah, I've played it a few times in sort of different groups and configurations.
Okay. And how does it play? How do people enjoy it?
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think a lot of the trick of the game is that the cards look good and the art's really evocative. And when you're playing it, it sort of has a social element that is pretty funny because sort of you have a card that is impotence. And one of the things that you might be doing is you're trying to give other players the conditions. And so, reaching across the table and saying I give you impotence is an amusing trick.
No, man, stop it.
Reminder, don't play games at Will.
Yeah.
Wow.
He gives you impotence. Yeah, and you can it looks like you could pick this up from Pillbox Games, the company itself, and they also sell to Amazon and Barnes & Noble and all the other big box stores.
Yeah, I picked it up at a Barnes & Noble.
There you go. Very cool. So what would you say? Is this an actual buy? Should people go out and pick this game up? Or if this is like Will was saying, if you're with a group of people and this comes out, you should play it?
I think if you are in the mental health field and, I think it's definitely worth adding to your collection. It's pretty funny. I think at the very least, sort of a standard passerby, play it for sure, definitely. I think it's replayable, and especially with the expansion packs.
Gotcha. This is a party game, 2 to 8 players. 3 minutes to learn, 10 to 30 minutes to play, according to them.
Yeah, very quick to learn. My only gripe with replaying it is that you have to sort the cards out from the disorders and the treatments. So everything gets shuffled up while you're playing it, and then in order to reset, you have to manually separate everything out so that you can then deal out the appropriate amount of cards, which is just minorly inconvenient.
Gotcha. All right, well, that was Side Effects. What else did you play?
We also played Pillars of Fate, which is something that, funnily enough, was part of a Kickstarter that I had backed, and then we ended up getting it handed to us at PAX, which was one of those things of I've been waiting for this to come in my mailbox, and actually arrived today, funnily enough. But we played it one of the nights at PAX. It's a 2-player lane battler. It's from the same people that did Veiled Fate, which is, of course, one of my favorite games of all time. And the idea of it is there's 3 lanes. It plays very similar to Desperate Oasis, if anyone's played that. It's sort of, there's 3 lanes set up, and you are playing cards against each other, 3 cards per lane. The idea is that you are gods that are fighting each other, and you're using demigods and heroes and things to combat each other across the ages. And each age is a round of 3 lanes. What you're doing is you're trying to get power over one particular lane. The cards you play can be played face up or face down. There's only one face down per lane, and they have power and they have suits. If you've played Veiled Fate before, the suits return from Veiled Fate. There's feathers and scorpions, but it's black and gold. And there's a sort of deception element to it, just like Veiled Fate. So the idea is that you're playing these cards and you're either trying to achieve an objective or bluff your opponent or deceive them and hopefully achieve whatever your objectives are throughout the game. The twist of it is that the demigod cards, you each get dealt 3 of them at the beginning of the game, and they have really strong effects that change how the game is played. So hypothetically, you might get a demigod card that flips the alignment of every card that gets played in the lane or something. Or, for example, I got one that was, you had to play it and it demanded that you lost every lane in order to gain points, for example.
Nice. Is this similar to the other one, the Scales of Fate?
Yeah, a little bit. So it was in the same Kickstarter situation, and both Scales and Pillars are 2-player games that are with the same kind of theming. It appears to me, I haven't played Scales of Fate yet, but it appears to me that's like a little bit of a bigger game, and Pillars is a little bit smaller.
Oh, very cool. So you've played a bunch of the games in the same company, production, genre, realms, places of Fate. Where does this one fit with the others? Like, is it better, worse? Is it more complex, easier?
Yeah, so my understanding of it is that both Pillars and Scales are a little bit less complicated than Veiled Fate is. Veiled Fate's a really cool game, but it does take quite a long time to play, and it is relatively complicated. I remember we all played together at one point, and there was a very significant period of learning, how does the game work? How do I play it? What are my objectives kind of stuff. So I think in some ways it's meant to address some of those things. Veiled Fate takes a while. It takes a little bit of investment to get into. It is a really cool game. One of the nice features of Veiled Fate was you could play at various sizes of player group and the game plays differently. Here they limit it to 2, so you can get something to the table, just 2 people, but still get some of the same experience. One of the cool parts is almost all of the visuals, almost all of the theming is the same across all 3 games. So if you're familiar with Veiled Fate or you're familiar with Pillars or something, you would be familiar with the other games. And also, depending on how you, I guess, conceptualize it, there's even space for all of the games to be sort of like existing alongside of each other or inside of each other in a way, because Veiled Fate is about like you are achieving your objectives and doing quests and things, right? Where Pillars of Fate is in this specific time frame, you're competing against each other, which I suppose just as well could be, inside Veiled Fate, for example.
Nice. So almost like you could play a whole game day where it's like one into the other kind of universe of games.
Yes, and I think it's interesting because they are sort of tangentially related to each other. So, for example, the card that I had gotten that was wanting you to lose all 3 lanes was related to one of the character roles in Veiled Fate. So I had played that character when we all played it, and so it was familiar. I recognized the art, and the conditions were somewhat thematic to the original game. So, I don't know if you liked the teal demigod from Veiled Fate. The teal demigod card in Pillars is the same character and has similar theming, let's say.
Excellent. Well, it seems like IV Studios needs to come out with an RPG now. I think that's the next step.
I would play it. Traditionally, it would have something to do with deception and gods and demigods and things, but I would play it.
Excellent. All right, so this, obviously you got a review copy, but also you purchased it. So buy, play. What are you thinking? Yeah,
not to be biased because I have 2 copies of this game in my home right now, but I do think it's a buy. I think it was a cool game. It functions pretty light, and I think it has a good use case for, being kind of quick and getting people easy in to learn it, but maybe getting them interested in maybe a heavier version of sort of the same game in sort of a like gateway kind of fashion.
Nice. All right. And then finally, you guys got Kite, which is completely the opposite of.
Yes, no math involved, in fact. So Kites, I had it pulled out before. So Kites is a 2 to 6 player game, ages 10 and up, takes about 10 minutes. And the mechanic is flipping our little timer, like sand hourglasses of varying colors. And essentially the story is you're trying to keep the kites of the different colors aloft and not on the ground, so you can have like a beautiful day at the park or whatever Mary Poppins said. And essentially you are taking turns flipping cards over from a deck. So each person at the table is going to flip a card, and then you have to then turn over the corresponding kite color. So you have like 5 cards in your hand or so at a time. So you can sort of strategically make choices of like, okay, I see the red is almost running out. I have to play a red card so that it can get flipped, and we can try to go on for as long as possible. And the rule book has sort of a one of those like scores at the end of like, if you've made it, with this many cards left in the pile, like, you're really fantastic. Yay. But it's very cute. I think like you need to play it on a stable surface so that the little hourglasses don't fall over, which is, I was finding it like I had to like roll my sleeves up and like, because I was knocking things over because I was like scrambling a lot to try to, be quick about it. But it was cute. I would definitely, play it. I think it would be good for kids. Not complicated to learn at all.
Nice. Yeah, this is from Floodgate.
Mm-hmm.
And really the thing that really attracts me to the game was the artwork from Beth Sobel, who I don't know if you know some of her other games, but Wingspan, Calico, Cascadia. I know Anthony's a big fan of that.
Cascadia.
Yeah. And I think if you go back far enough, I want to say that she actually do some of the Dixit stuff, the early stuff, if I remember correctly. I think some of the cards there too, where I first ran to her work. But she's had a beautiful, beautiful career of all these wonderful games, really just like top notch kind of stuff. So yeah. Again, Will, you played this too?
Yeah, I really liked it. I think one of the things I was struck by was the game is really difficult. Not necessarily in that it is a complicated game necessarily, but there's just a lot going on. And the first time we played it, we were bad at it. Like we could barely set up the game and function. And we played it once and we got like the lowest score possible. And then we were kind of sitting around, okay, I kind of better understand this. But I really like the way it plays because you can really see yourself getting a little better at it as you play it.
It sort of put me in a similar headspace to like games like Overcooked, where you're like, you have like that very visual time pressure and like 7 things happening at once, and you're like, and trying to, make your brain work through like this high pressure, high stakes, quote unquote, like situation. So that was, that was fun, but also obviously very low stakes and not, not the end of the world.
I really appreciate the SAM timers as like a game mechanic, but also as like the functional thematic reality of like kites in the sky and they can only stay up there for so long and eventually hit the ground, which is like, it's such a interesting cognitive jump, right? Like, how do I build something around kites? Like, what if they don't, they stay up for X number of grains of sand, but eventually they fall? They're just like sand timers. But you gotta flip them all the time because you gotta pull the kite.
And they're pretty like delicate too. Like, like I said, they're easy to knock over.
Sure.
You have to kind of be strategic with like how close you're setting them up, and like, are you giving yourself enough room to, maneuver with them?
It's true. Well, we got a review copy from Floodgate. Megan, would you actually purchase this if you had a chance to play it at the convention? Would you play it maybe in the future, or what's your thoughts and feelings? Obviously, you like the game, so it's not a dodge or burn.
No, yes. I would definitely recommend playing it.
Sure.
I think that this would be a really great game if you like interact with children a lot, or like have a lot of like kids in your life who like colorful things and want to play like a simple game.
Sure.
Or if you want, because this is cooperative, so if you have like a high energy gaming family and want to, put the energy towards something that's cooperative rather than like cutthroat, I think this would be worth having to give yourself a little bit of a break there. So yes, I would say definitely at least play and like consider buying.
Excellent. You're on board with that, Will?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of good applications for it outside of just having fun with it too, which would be something worth looking into. But I really enjoyed playing it, and I think I could see a lot of people getting into that headspace and really latching onto it.
Very cool. Yeah, it's 2 to 6 players, so you could really play as like a game night, or like as Megan was saying, like a family night, and it's just a lot of dexterity manipulation all at the same time, but cooperatively. The opposite of this, Megan, I don't know if you ever played Jungle Speed. Oh, Jungle Speed is like, it's a competitive game where there's like, I don't know how you would explain it. Anthony, what would that shape be? It's like,
it's just a little bar. It's just a punching game. You just punch each other. It's not.
All right, let me take it back a little bit. So there is an item. There's like a little, like Anthony said, like a little bar, a little staff, but it's grippable. Like it's like almost like an hourglass, opposite hourglass kind of shape. And then you flip over these different card tiles, and then when the appropriate thing comes up, everyone grabs for it. And if you get it, you actually get the point for that. But as Anthony said, eventually, because everyone's grabbing for it, there's a lot of like physical hand interactions, which are punchable if you're in that right environment with those right people. So it's the opposite of Kites, which is delicate and cooperative. Jungle Speed is painful and problematic, I guess. All right, everybody. So that's everything that hit our table this week. Now on to our feature review. All right, everybody. So for our feature review this week, we talked about this before. We had a great time at PAX. Didn't get to go to BGGCon because it was happening at the same time. And teleportation is not actively available at the moment. But when it does, we will go to both at the same time. Nonetheless, both conventions had a lot of games, a lot of fun, and beyond all the vendors and the showroom floor and all that kind of fun stuff, there are places to play games. There are game libraries that you could take games out for free. Well, I mean, you paid for the convention to come, but nonetheless, you could take the games out for free. I don't think everybody knows that. Could be a thing you did not know. And then you could just play the games at the table and then return it. And generally, you can take one game at a time, but some conventions, sometimes they let you take multiple games at a time, which is also weirdly problematic in some situations. Thanks to our friends on Facebook, in particular Hilary Clair from BGG, she mentioned that at the BGG library, and I think this is really interesting because oftentimes we're all struggling to figure out what games are people playing and what games might we want to play, and like what are the hot games. And there's a lot of metrics to go by as far as hot games are concerned. In fact, BGG has a whole hot game section that we talk about typically once a month, give or take. This is pretty interesting because at these particular conventions, you have, I guess, somewhat hardcore gamers. I think we could define them as such, because who else goes to game conventions, right? And
right, yeah. These are people who know games and are looking for certain things.
Yeah, 100%. Like they're already curators. They already know the industry. They already know what they're picking out. And again, they're no slacks. So it's really good feedback as far as what's really hot out there. So from BGGCon, and everyone's library is different. So we're going to come into some weird, interesting dynamics and metrics and stuff like that. So take everything with a giant grain of salt. But from BGGCon, the same weekend, they don't have a hot games room, which is a little different than PAX. PAX has a room or a space on the 4th floor that's just like the new hotness, right? First look section.
Yeah, I think BGG does have a hot games room.
Okay.
It's set up a little bit differently, where it's like recently available things in the space. Whereas like the first look room is like they literally go out to Europe and Japan and pick up those
Sure.
games. So it's like a different type of
It's
thing.
a different type of thing than
they do.
PAX.
They do definitely have like hot games, which is not the same as like the library, because the library is just like here's everything.
Sure.
And here's things we have a lot of copies of. Whereas hot games is like we have 2 copies. You can all fight over it. No one's going to teach you the game. Have fun.
Yeah. So so the lists are a little different because of that. So those games for the hot game section over in BGGCon, Sanctuary, Luthier, and Speakeasy were the games that were played the most in the hot section over in BGGCon. That's not the library picks. That's just the hot games area.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's 3 brand new games that just shipped to people. So.
Sure. Now, the really important thing, obviously, she's pointing out some of the games that were out there, but the top 6 titles that were taken from the library. So with 60, I guess she has a 60 number here, so I'm assuming taking out 60 time was Whisperwood, which was a new game from CGE. So very mathy, abstract woodland creatures kind of doing things. Because what do woodland creatures do best but math?
Yeah, this is a cool looking game. I wanted to try it out over at the CGE booth at PAX. And they did have copies for sale at PAX. I think they sold out sometime Saturday morning. But it's cute looking. It's a CGE game, so you know it's going to be quality production. And it's a little bit on the lighter side for them. It's not one of their big sprawling boxes. It's like a 2.0. It takes 40 minutes to play. So would be a good fit in my household. I might check this out next time around.
Excellent. And then at 65, I guess, was Mistborn, the deck building game. We've already played and reviewed this.
We have. Yeah, the 3 of us, Chris, you and I and Will, we played this about a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
I brought my copy out to New Jersey and we got a chance to play. This is a deck building game with either cooperative or directly combative elements. And if you know the Mistborn series, it's got all the characters in there. It's got a very thematic central bad guy. If you don't know the Mistborn series, there's a lot of lore baked in to the mechanics. So it's a little bit heavier of a lift, I think, probably to learn the game, because the whole concept being like you're burning these different metals to activate these different types of powers, and how you burn them and when you burn them and how fast you burn them affects like when you can play the cards. I think it's hard for me to know as the person who owns the game and learned the game and also has read these books to know how intuitive or not intuitive that is from a gameplay mechanic. I think it's pretty cool, and I think the artwork's really fun, but I know the game, having brought it to a couple groups, has landed a little bit with a thud with some people. So I don't think it's the best game in the world, but it's cool looking. They spent some money on it.
Then at 73, Hot Streak.
Hot Streak. We've talked about this the last few weeks. This is the mascot racing game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, based on Magical Athlete.
Yeah, looks fun.
Yeah.
Want to race around as a giant like hot dog person?
And then at 74, Galactic Cruise.
I think you're the one who's played this, man.
Yeah, it's a heavier Euro. It's oftentimes, talked about in the same breath as the Vital Lacerda games. And it's basically a worker placement game, logistics management of getting people onto spaceships so they can take travels abroad. And then there's just like a lot of micromanagement of different areas of effect. And there's also bumping of other workers, because that's sometimes what worker placement games do. They bump other players. So it's interesting. You have something like Hot Streak at 73, which is incredibly light and just kind of a fast, quick game. And then you have something Galactic Cruise, which is like the complete opposite. Heavy and crunchy as all get out.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I feel that. Like, this list, looking at the 6 games here, minus like one of them, I'm like, I would play all these. Like, if you sat me down for a weekend, like, these are the 6 games we're playing, I'm like, sure, I'll play those.
And then next up was at 83, Vantage, Anthony.
Yeah, not my cup of tea, but I get why people dig it.
Yeah, it's the Stonemaier game that's like the open box concept world where you're trying to achieve goals, but maybe not happen, but also sandbox, so maybe.
Yeah.
People like a sandbox.
They do love a sandbox, and I always think I'll like a sandbox, and then I play it, and I'm like, I'm actually bored. So I did not pick this one up for that reason, because the last 2 or 3 of these, like Seventh Continent and Like all those big sprawling things, I'm like, not having fun with this, but I get why people like it. Like it's been explained to me why they're fun, and I get it. It's not for me.
And then finally, the top one, I guess, but just by one, 84, Flamecraft Duels, going back the other way to super lightness.
Right. Yeah. Megan and Will, the three of us kind of like hovered around this booth for like 45 minutes trying to get a try at this game.
And we were not successful.
No.
It was very popular. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know what it was. I only knew it existed like a couple weeks before PAX. And then when I finally saw it at PAX, I'm like, oh, this is not the same at all. This is like an abstract stacking game.
Yes, based on like what I know of Flamecraft, which I played one time and really enjoy, it didn't look like a game that would be in the same family or like the same universe. But I looked interesting, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the same artwork, which is beautiful. 2-player. The thing about Flamecraft is it plays fine at 2 players. I've only played it with 2 players, actually. I played it with my daughter. I've played like half a dozen times one-on-one, and it plays great. So when I was like, 2-player version, what would they do differently? Oh, it's a completely different game. I get it. So, and it seems like you're trying to line up these different tiles to match the patterns on your cards, which is simple, which is what I like too. Sometimes they do the 2-player version, it actually ends up being more complicated, which
I actually wonder if they have like a single player version, because that seems like something I would do single player also. Or it reminds me of like a phone app like game that I would download and like play like on my bus ride into work. Just like, tile moving and like
Yeah, totally. I feel that. It does have a solo mode.
Wow.
So
I would buy it just for the solo mode, honestly. Having not played it at all yet, just the concept of the solo mode, I would get it just for that.
Yeah. I did pick up a copy for my daughter, but it's on the Christmas pile, so I won't get to play it for a few more weeks.
Yeah. But it did strike me.
I hope she doesn't listen to this podcast.
That's true. I'll find out both my kids listen. Like,
oh no. When we were sitting at the booth, one of the things that did strike me about it was it felt a lot like we're making another game in the Flamecraft brand.
Right.
Much more than like we are making Flamecraft for 2 people, because I had the same thought of I've played it with 2 people and with like 6, and it was like, okay, it's that kind of thing. Like, how would you make it that way? And then our experience at the booth kind of reinforced that for me.
Totally, yeah. It's a tricky thing, because some companies will do that, and they're like, let's just keep the brand, and we'll make a new game on that brand, and then that new game is bad, and you make the brand worse.
Yeah.
Like Gloomhaven did that, Suburbia did that. There's a couple others like stuff in my mind right now, and then occasionally they do that, and it's like, actually, this is great, and it adds to the brand, and now we're building up this catalog of games that are doing fun things with this visual style. So, and you know what, their booth was hopping. People were buying stuffies, they were buying promos and pins. So
I saw everyone walking around with what their because they also very smartly put their ad on the side of their like reusable bag that they packaged things in that they gave out, and I was like, everyone has a Flamecraft bag walking around.
Yeah, this is one of those games when it first came out, I'm like, I really want that because it's just such fun looking artwork, but it looks a little too light for me.
Yeah.
And then like a couple years ago, my daughter's like, actually, I love dragons more than anything in the world. I'm like, sweet, we're getting Flamecraft.
That's great. All right, well, on the PAX side, I have 2 lists here from our friend Matt Morgan. One is PAX Unplugged. We're looking at the tabletop library total checkouts. And then the other list that he has here is the total checkouts, but in this scenario, in fact, we have, hold on a second, let me pull both of them up. All fancy like. I want to surprise you guys. Don't know. I'm the only one who knows. This is checkouts per copy. So a little bit on the different side here. And
I have to do more math to get the final number.
Yeah, well, I'm going to run through a couple of these. I think that, there's some interesting takes on it. But again, as far as like what was the hottest, it's a little debatable. again, based on how many copies were available and I guess what promotions the companies were running at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a look at, well, I guess it really just depends. There's so much fun stuff to look at here. We talked about the game we played last week, and that was also part of the hotness area. So, okay, cool. So let's see. All right, let's talk about the ones that actually only have very few copies, because I think that's pretty interesting that people went back multiple times to take them out. So we have, for example, Cascadia was taken out 29 times, only had 2 copies.
I love Cascadia.
Yeah, same. I'm surprised they only had 2 copies. That's a very popular game.
Mm-hmm. We have Harmonies that had 4 copies and was taken out 60 times.
That's a good game.
Yeah, we played that. I think, Will, right? It's like,
yeah.
That's also like stacking resources?
Yeah. Stacking stuff.
We love it.
We have Wavelength, which had 3 copies for 46.
That's a great convention game because it's fun and party like, but also you have to think a little bit, and it takes 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Here you have 1 copy, but it was played 16 times. This is Get Baked by Nomivore Games. Will.
Oh, yeah. We were unsuccessful in getting our dear friend at Nomnivore to give us a copy of this game.
Yeah, Will set me up, and it did not work.
Well, we'll tell people what's special about that game.
Yeah, so the cool part about the game is that it was developed by our friends at Nomnivore and effectively given to Cookie Brigade, which is a nonprofit that you may have seen at conventions. And the whole game, the proceeds and all of that go to Cookie Brigade, right? So it's effectively a game that was wholesale concept, everything given to a nonprofit to support their efforts.
Nice. All right, we have at 2 copies, 32 times played, Sky Team.
That's a good one. Yeah, quick 2-player game. Like I often pull out 2-player games when I'm there, especially because like I bring my kids one at a time and just need a quick 2-player game because they want to get away from the booths for a bit.
At 4 copies and was played 65 times, Flamecraft Duels.
Yeah.
Oh, the BGG crowd beat them out.
There you go. All right, let's take a look. Oh, and I guess probably one of the most impressive ones here. We have 1 copy, got played 22 times, Hughes and Hughes.
I've wanted to play that game, but I have not yet. Has anyone else played that?
I have not played that. I've seen it
played that.
so many times, like online, like so many random podcasts or video people are just like, let's play this game. I'm just like, okay. I guess that's a thing. It's trying to pick out the colors and stuff.
It's like giving clues to try to get people to guess as close as possible to the color. I think I got that for my friend is a graphic designer, like is in like the printing industry, and so like very familiar with colors. And I got that for her for like her birthday one year.
And then there's a game, Anthony, I thought you probably know about. They had 2 copies. It was checked out 34 times. From Lego, Bricks Like This.
Bricks Like This. I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's a new Lego. It's a new board game from literally the Lego company.
Huh, that's interesting. Because I know they partnered up with Asmodee on a Lego game last year, but now they're publishing their own.
Yeah. All right, and then just total checkouts, no matter how many copies they have here. Again, this is a little bit of an interesting list. We have SETI with 5 copies, 51 times taken out. We have Potion Explosion.
Yeah.
That's a fun throwback. That 10 copies was taken out 52 times. We have Carcassonne, 9 copies taken out 55 times. That is a serious classic right there. We have Splendor Duel, which had 4 copies taken out 56 times. Galaxy Trucker, shocking to me at least, 7 copies played 57 times.
People love that game, man. Sorry.
I don't know why. I don't.
Yep. Very popular.
I mean, the mechanics are very cool. What happens with the mechanics, different story. But again, that's a podcast for another day.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at 5 copies taken out 58 times. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game.
Nice.
Yes.
Great game. That's great too, because at a convention you could just finish it.
Yes.
Probably
4
take about
copies.
2 to 3 hours. You could get through the whole thing.
4 copies played 60 times. We have Harmonies.
Yeah, solid.
8 copies taken out 63 times. Tiny Towns.
Very solid game. Love that.
We already talked about Flamecraft Duels. Azul, 7 copies played 70 times. And then we have, take a look here, so many numbers, so much math here. And then we're taking a look at Parks, 11 copies played 73 times. Heat, 7 copies played 73 times. Sagrada, 7 copies, 83 times. Catastrophe, 15 copies played 90 times. The Game of 9 Lives. Have not played that game.
It's cute. It's cute. I got it for my daughter last year, I think. It's stupid, take that nonsense, but it's very cute and clever the way they write the cards. It's a lot of cat puns.
Your daughter doesn't share her games, that's all I'm saying, man.
You come over, she'd gladly share with you. It is a game about cats, though, and I know you're not a fan. So.
I'm allergic. I appreciate the cat genre. I just happen to be allergic to it. 7 copies played 95 times. The original, the OG, Flamecraft.
Yep.
All right.
Now this one with 12 copies and 163 checkouts, you will not guess this at all. This is Fire Tower.
Fire Tower.
I have that game actually. Yes, I have played that with my mom. I played that with my mom like last Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
That does surprise me actually, because it's a very like simple game in concept, but very the visual clicky clacky pieces, like the little flame tokens, very pleasing to like sensorially experience.
Yeah, it's their booth is always one that, I mean, they just, whoever did the production design for their booth, the light on those little fire plastic gem looking things.
So cute, yeah.
It's very cool. Like their production design for their booth is fantastic, and they do it every year. And you're like, you guys basically have this one game, but you have the most attention.
Well, they also are coming out with Punch Bowl, which Will and I demoed while we were there, and I did spend $45 on Kickstarter to get that game delivered to me. Another game I kept seeing on my, internet feeds, and I was like, I've seen this game. Wow, these beautiful, like, colorful plastic pieces. Obviously, I need to see this.
100%.
It was we played like a round or so. Was fun. Would play again. Hopefully for a whole game.
Nice. You gotta have the shinies in a game. That's one of the great things about tabletop games.
I am learning about myself that I can be convinced to spend money that I should not spend if there are clicky clacky shiny pieces involved. So
welcome to Board Gamers Anonymous.
Yes.
Yeah, welcome aboard. You I think it's a natural transition from Dice Goblin to board game. I guess, what would you call it, Anthony? We used to call all the bling, but the bling's not the right word anymore. That's such an old word.
It's like a dragon sitting on its hoard. Like that's this collection in the background here. Like, I have all this cardboard, and it's very pretty, and it is mine. I will never use it. I will never play it, but it's mine.
And yet, when the cardboard is shiny, or the things are shiny, that's when it becomes extra special.
Yeah, and you take it out and you just look at it, and someone else tries to look at it, and you're like, no, it's mine.
They're like, do you have any shiny pieces? Why, yes, I do. I have plenty of shiny pieces.
All the shiny pieces.
100%. Yeah, and
that
game has
to prove it.
Excellent. So if you want to see all the shiny pieces, next time you go to a game convention, check out their library and play the games with the shiny pieces, because that will show up. Game presence. We talk about this a lot too in the past, right? Games that get attention and get people to come over, especially people who are not into gaming, and you're like, look, shiny, and they'll come play the game. So it's a good way to get people to play games. Shiny, 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 shiny.
Shiny, shiny.
All right, everyone. Until next time, this is Chris.
Hey, this is Anthony.
This is Will.
This is Megan.
And we'll save you all a seat at your local game convention library. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi there, I'm Hugh from Poderation. If you like today's show, why not check out Dungeons and Dragonfruits, the bizarre, strange, and queer in every sense of the word D&D podcast. Join 5 friends as they laugh, learn, and adventure their way through the weird, wonderful world of Widdershins, where dragons hatch from trees and have adventures of all forms in every shape and size. Available wherever you can get your podcasts.